Welcome to the Toughones Podcast. I'm your host, Uriel Batista, and today we have Orange County born and raised, Orange County Academy alumni, former LBC volleyball player from 2017 to 2018, volleyball coach, founder of OC Resilient and Intentful Media, Steven Morales.
That's pretty good. I don't know. I was like, yeah, that's a lot.
Thank you for giving me a couple of minutes of your day. You know, you're pretty busy with stuff going on with both companies you've started. Today, how's it going today?
It's good. It's Sunday. Just, getting ready for the week. A lot of things coming up for OCR, so it's going good so far.
First of all, I want to give you your flowers for becoming an entrepreneur. I didn't get the chance, honestly. I've been doing it for a couple of years now, and I think knowing that you became an entrepreneur of two things, OC Resilient and Intentful Media, I think that's a great thing for you and for your family and the people around you. You know, you're creating jobs for people and positions and putting people in different places for both your companies. So definitely gonna give you flowers for that.
Thank you.
Now going to your background. So you obviously played here, came to Orange County Academy, was born in Santa Ana. You're a Latino, Latino parents.
Yes, sir.
Mexican, right?
Yes.
Gotta give a shout out, Take us back to what it was like growing up in Santa Ana and being influenced by Latino people and growing up in a Latino household.
So I think started off soccer. As a kid, soccer was my main sport growing up. And then when I got into middle school, since I came here, in middle school they had different sports opportunities. So I tried basketball, and my sixth grade year, and I got cut. I got cut from my middle school basketball team. I didn't know that was possible, but we had some pretty good players at that level already. Anyway, so I got cut, and then but I kept at it, and I eventually learned to love the sport. Even though it's not big in the Hispanic world, soccer taught me a lot that translated into other sports. So that's how I got into basketball was my main sport. Okay. Basketball, yeah. I think whatever sport challenges me,
you're into it.
I'm into it, and I go head
I
into that.
I think that's to do with Latino people to be pretty. What do you put in front of us? We gotta.
Yeah, I think it's your ego. I for sure think it's my ego. I'm not gonna suck at this sport. I will put in the work not to suck at this sport. And dude, the Hispanic culture, if you suck.
Yeah, they go for your head.
Oh my goodness, they're coming at everything. Like in soccer, there's a bunch of patachueca. There's a bunch of stuff, man. So it doesn't matter who you're playing with. You can be playing like when we were younger. You could play like 80-year-old heads, and they'll be talking mad smack. Yeah. They can't even run up the field
at all times.
But you miss one goal.
Yeah,
they're on you. So I think I took that type of pride into all my sports. Like, dude, I can't suck.
Got you. So like, what was it like growing up in Santa Ana? What were some of the challenges you faced growing up out here?
There wasn't many. I give a lot of props to, because my parents come from Mexico, and at that they were like first generation pretty much. Like they were like they came from nothing, so they did what they had to do to give us their best. So I learned a lot of work ethic from my parents. My dad would wake up early, come home late because he's working all day for us, to provide for us, whatever we can. So I guess the challenges, you guys, we didn't have a lot of money, but I know that my parents did what they had to do in order to get me and my sister where we're at. Right? So back then I probably didn't see it. Back then I probably thought it was unfair. But now looking back at it, I don't see them as challenges. I feel like my parents did what they had to do to get me to where I was. Okay. So I am thankful for that. And back then I probably wasn't because I want to do more. I want to play club at an early age. Like we couldn't afford club. Like that wasn't gonna be. But what they could afford, I was in. And one thing that I do give my parents is I didn't miss any of my games. So Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're in the same boat. You know, for me, from coming from Panama, obviously, you know, getting the chance to come play in the States, you know, at this school, Orangewood Academy, play basketball, you know, and volleyball. So I played both, you know. Kind of opened my eyes to like how much work my parents did to try to keep me out of the streets. 'Cause back home, I didn't grow up in the best place, you know, but they tried all basketball, volleyball, tennis, like, you know, water polo, swimming, always to kind of keep me out of those bad influences, you know?
Yeah.
And now I see like, oh wow, like my parents did all that to get me here, you know?
Yeah.
Now that I'm grown, I see like all those sacrifices they did. I didn't go about a lot of money either, but they did, like I never worried about the next plate in my table, you know?
Yeah. I didn't have those challenges either.
Yeah, like I had a bed, I had a roof, you know? So we lived comfortably with what we had at the time. So I definitely, that sits with me. So 2 sports, you said, basketball and volleyball, right? What's it like playing it in high school versus basketball, though?
Ooh, basketball. Look, man, I love volleyball. Don't get me wrong, volleyball. I've made volleyball my entire life, but basketball, there's just something about. Look, man, in volleyball, there's a net in between you. Like you can't even cheer through the net, and if they do, like you get in trouble, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we still do, but bro, man, the basketball energy of just somebody guarding you at all times and the different strategies that you have to do in basketball at an ongoing, at a fast pace. Yeah, dude, I love basketball. I mean, that's still like if I had to pick and choose what sport, I would jump into basketball, just because of everything that it's taught me.
Yeah.
Everything that is, there's, you know, when you go through a lot of things in life, like there's certain things that can like, you know, you can do to escape reality. And basketball was the sport for me, man. It was, because it was just you against somebody else. Like you had to work on your shot. There's a lot of technique. There's a lot of different ways. There's so many different ways you can do to score, right? At the exact same time, there's so many different ways that you can score on me.
Yeah.
So all of that, just that mind game of like there's screens, there's a lot of different moving pieces at all times, conditioning. It's just, yeah, basketball was a lot of fun, and it gave it, and also like the crowd in basketball is different.
Yeah, a little more trash talk.
Yeah, like, because they can get you at different spots. In volleyball, like, if you get blocked a couple times or you get ace, like, they'll rat on you, like, certain things. But, man, like, in basketball, like, any turnover, you don't have a left hand, your shot's broken, like, they're coming at you. I agree. And I remember in high school, like, we would play teams, and, like, the other high schools had, like, our social media pages, so they knew, like, who we were dating, who our parents were, like, they knew, like, all our stats, like, bro, like, it was ruthless. So I loved the atmosphere that basketball came. But volleyball, I wasn't playing that. I mean, I did play competitive volleyball in high school, but nothing to take over basketball. So for me in high school, it was soccer when I was growing up, and then basketball and volleyball, but it was mostly basketball all of my high school career going into college. Yeah.
So what made you choose to pick this sort of volleyball for college? You played at Lumber City College. It was you had a great team.
Yeah.
I was not there yet. I got in 2018, 2019. You guys had Steven, you libero, crazy offense, even defense too, you know?
Yeah.
So like what made you like pick the sport of volleyball for college?
Yeah, so I went to college for basketball my freshman year, straight out of high school. I went for basketball out in La Sierra, so I was there for basketball. And that was cool. It was fun, but you know, it didn't, you know, I was very young, very young. So a very young, crazy Steven, you know, made a lot of mistakes at an early age at the university level. So I had to leave, and then I went the JUCO route because I was like, La Sierra was expensive, so I was like, let me go the JUCO route, let me try to save some money, and then I tried to figure it out. And I remember it was at Golden West College. Golden West College. That's where I met all my closest friends at Golden West College. But anyway, I went there, and I took a volleyball class with Bill. Okay. Bill's the women's head coach there. And anyway, so I was there, and I was, you know, just playing there. And then he asked, like, hey, you should try out for the men's volleyball team. I think they need players. Casey was the head coach at that time, and I talked to him, and he's like, yeah, dude, come try out. Matt Hilling was there. That was a fun group. Andrew Pearson. It was Dylan, the Emery. Those are some good guys there. And I played there for a little bit, and then Andrew transferred to Long Beach City that following year. So then I was like, I go to West all myself, and it was cool. And then I think once I got a taste of like the collegiate level, because bro, like it is JUCO, but JUCO in Southern California for men's volleyball,
I agree.
it's different.
I agree.
Different. I mean, even now, like I could take any of those Long Beach City, OCC, IVC teams, take them to like any NAIA school and probably smack them. Like that's just the way JUCO is out here in Southern California, especially, in this area. So I went there for a little bit, and then I was done. I didn't play. Like it was fun playing volleyball, but not to the point where like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this forever, right? Yeah. So then I stopped playing for a little bit, and Andrew went to Long Beach City, and then he's like, dude, you should come, like, try out, dude, like, it's a really good program. They just won the year before, so I was like, all right, man, let's go try it out, and then I went there, and it was different. Long Beach City's
Coach Charette.
It's different.
Man, yes.
It was a lot of fun. It was competitive. There's a lot of guys trying for Long Beach City. Like, bro, I remember there was like 60 guys trying out. So it was just like
Mike came out, took care of that.
Oh, it was just a lot. Your ego, your prides were up in there.
Yeah.
Playing with a bunch of guys that could have gone D1, but they just either didn't have grades or just didn't make the cuts at that school, which is like the next big thing, because they know if they go to Long Beach City, they're going D1.
Yeah.
Like that's just the way it is. So the competitiveness was there, and then Andrew's like, hey, come here. I balled out for a little bit. That's why I talked to Coach Charette and Coach Noah. And after that, they said, hey, do you want to come play for us? And I was like, all right, dude, I'm down. I'm down. I liked it. I was already, Andrew's my best friend, so I was already there. Just meeting the rest of the Long Beach City guys. It was a good time, a good community, and we were really good. Like we had a nasty team. So in my head, I was like, all right, let's do this.
You guys would have beat my team.
It was. I mean, I didn't see all of your team, but I mean, what we had was, our middles were really good. We had like 4 liberos. Like it was really good oppos. A lot of our guys went D1 or pro right now. So, but Long Beach City has always had really strong men's volleyball teams. So I think the history also helped out with that decision. Like, all right, what can we do with this? And look, I love the sport of volleyball, but it's very, it's meant for non-minorities, right? So
there's a lot of
Long Beach City was like against the norm of volleyball.
Hawaii.
So there was it was a lot of mixed nationalities. There's there's Polys, there's Hispanics, there's African Americans. Yeah, and it was just like whenever we play other schools, like you can tell like they're just different, and that type of culture I loved. I loved that culture that we don't look like every other team. So I think those were my big points of. And after Long Beach City pretty much made my volleyball career.
I hear you.
For sure.
I hear you. So being at Long Beach and of course working hard to be in the court, fighting for that spot. Were there any life lessons that you think about it now that, you left that behind and now you become having OCR and then intense with media? Even just besides those 2 things, like just in life in general.
Life lessons, Long Beach. If people knew me in college, I was fun. I was wild. I didn't have no structure, no discipline. It was like I didn't care about anything else but me. So I guess the life lessons was after all the mistakes that I made. Like, man, we did a lot of bad things at the Long Beach times. Like, I remember I had to take not just bad things, just like partying and all that stuff, but grades also, man. I made a lot of mistakes being young and just doing dumb things and just letting my grades drop. I remember I had to take a fall, because we started in the spring. All of fall, I took 18 units, right? And then in the winter, I had to take 12.
Oh, in
order to play, to be eligible to play that year. So I had to go ham. I had to go ham. And shout out Mary. Mary, I love that woman for the rest of my life, man. She really helped me. She's the one that does gives the free books, and she handles all the stuff back in Long Beach City. And man, I made the switch and I got it because at the end of the day, at the JUCO level, you can get stuck by getting bad grades, but you let down a lot of people. It sucks looking at your teammates saying hey, I can't play this year because you're ineligible. So I think those, as much as people say, oh, you just didn't pass the class. Like, it hurts. So, like, taking that seriously, like, I don't want to be ineligible this year, like, really pushed me. So, that, being able to do 18 units and 12 units in, like, literally, like, 4 months made me think, okay, I can do
anything else.
Pretty much anything on that one.
Yeah.
And then the other life lesson was we were undefeated at Long Beach City.
Yes.
Like, I mean, like, undefeated to the point where, like, I don't think we dropped a set. Like, we were just absolutely waxing teams. Like, no respect, just waxing teams. And we went to the semis, and we got absolutely destroyed.
Pierce, right?
Yeah, to Pierce.
Yeah,
I mean, absolutely. I think we lost in, like, 45 minutes.
Dang.
Like, bro, it was like we got punched in the mouth and just, like, our worst game for, like, everybody was that game. And it was a semifinal game against Pierce, and they ended up winning the whole thing. They got, Morgan's on that team. We got some really cool guys that we still talk to. But yeah, man, so that's another life lesson. I was done. I haven't watched that game. I haven't watched that LA Pierce game. Like, it was that bad. Like, we just didn't know what happened. And that, I was done playing, like, volleyball. I was like, dude, nothing. I was done. So I think the life lessons that I got, looking back from that, granted, there's more steps after that, was the growth that happened in my life from, like, that crazy party style of Steven to who I am now. The pretty much quitting volleyball from a big loss. So I guess, like, the growth on that, like, giving myself a second chance in volleyball, in the thing. And then I think the impact that Charette's and Coach Noah made in my life, and not giving up on me. I think having mentors like that also impacted my life for a huge way, because, I mean, we'll talk about it, like, what's happening now, but it has come full circle.
Yes,
full circle of what happens when you speak life into somebody. And I feel like Coach Jonathan Charette and Coach Noah and everybody, Coach Drew, at that thing, they did. As much as we were crazy, they spoke a lot of life into us and really made us into the men that we are now. If you actually listen to what they were saying, I feel like, the life lessons, I'm forever thankful for them and for not giving up on me during those times.
Gotcha. So you mentioned quitting, not in a bad way, but the time was up. 2 years in college, You have to move on after those 2 years if you're not transferring. Any things you have to mention about quitting, and if you have a certain hardship that at the time you're facing?
Yeah. When it comes to quitting, like, so for me, like, I'm very hard on myself. Like, I don't know. I think maybe that was, like, the childhood inside of me, that, like, I had to be good. Like, looking for validation. Like, I had to be at a certain level, and if I wasn't there, like, I gotta be better. And if I wasn't there, then it's just, like,
tough.
Knocking on myself. So when it comes to quitting, I was done playing volleyball because I blamed that loss on myself. Like, you understand, like, that 2018 year, like, I was libero, but I took, like,
proud of being
I took every ball.
No, yeah,
like,
I see videos, and I was
bro,
like,
it
wow,
wasn't even like, if I could, it would be just be by myself. Like, but we would do, like, a two-passer type of thing. But I was
Edgar, right?
Yeah, like, I would split the court up. Like, look, man, like, me, Andrew knew, like, Remy, all the guys knew. Like, the moment the person tosses the ball, get off the court. Like, let me take all of that, and I would pride myself. Like, we had, like, a scale of a 3-point passing. Like, I was like, okay, let's get a 2.7, 2.8. As a team, let's go 2.4. Like, I would pride myself on serve receive. Like, I knew, especially in men's volleyball, first ball side out is huge. So I prided myself heavy on serve receive. And that one game, I didn't pass bad. Like, I wasn't getting aced, but it wasn't like, I wasn't passing like a 2-7, probably passing like a 2-2.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad.
Yeah, I'm not wrong.
But in the libero world and where I was, it was because I needed help of the other guys. And with the moment that happened, like, I took that blame, that loss, like, the hardest, because I knew, like, all right, I lost this game. If I pass well, we win. And that's how hard I was for that. So, like, the quit comes not from what other people say, but for what I tell myself, right? So one thing that I've learned moving forward, and don't get me wrong, I didn't learn that lesson back then. I only learned this quitting lesson now, because I like in June of 2022, well, this last year, like, I was completely burnt out, bro. Like, burnt out to the max. Like, I wanted to quit OCR. Like, it's too much. I don't want to do this anymore. Like, it was a lot of a lot of stuff going on. We were trying new things, and just a lot of things were going wrong. And I wanted to quit. Like, I got burnt out completely. And I think when you want to quit in anything, reach out. Reach out, man.
Reach out.
One thing is reach out. Like, it's okay to feel those type of emotions. Like, I reached out. I hit up, you know, 'cause I worked at Real Church, and I hit up some of my pastors. I was like, hey, man, like, I'm struggling right now. Like, and they got me like, hey, let's go find a therapist. So I found a therapist. And changed my life forever.
I think that's great, honestly.
Changed my life.
A lot of men, personally too, like, a lot of men are not willing to step into, oh, I need help, you know, like.
Yeah.
Like, it's some like the men stigma and like, oh, you should be do this, you shouldn't be do that. You should just like chest, you know, tough it out, you know. So I think, honestly, it's a great thing you did that and reach out for help.
Yeah.
I think it's a great thing to keep in mind. Reach out. I mean, that word has a lot of meaning. Just being able to reaching out, you know, like.
Yeah, 'cause I think for us, the natural thing to do, I was taught this at a young age, is like, keep your head down and keep grinding. Keep your head on the grind, keep your head on the grind. But none of that helps with like the internal stuff.
Yes, not at all.
Like, none of that. I mean, don't get me wrong, it'll make me a really good athlete and a very good player because you bought everything in there. But eventually, all that stuff comes out in like relationships, or like even the way you lead, even the way you coach. Like, there's toxic, you know, coaching, you know, mechanisms that come out if you bottle a lot of stuff. So I think, you know, with my therapy, instead of keeping your head down and grind, he pretty much told me, like, what if you like keep your head up, embrace, then grind, right? He's like, don't skip the embracing of like what you're feeling, how you're feeling this. Don't get me wrong. Like, don't get stuck in that, right? But like, embrace it, feel it, let it pass.
Bring it in,
and then keep pushing, not just keep your head on the grind and grind and grind. And that's one thing that I do. It's natural to me. That's easy to me. When stuff happens in life, just create more and create more and create more. But at the end of the day, like, that doesn't.
To keep it simple.
That doesn't do much.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay to slow down. Like, so if anything, like, reach out. Reach out will be the first one. Okay, it's okay to feel what you're feeling, right? And then the third one, like people say, just do it. Just do what you got to do. Just keep pushing. All right, keep pushing. Like, and when I say keep pushing, you don't got to push into big steps. Like, keep pushing and take, you know, one step in front of the other. Like, if you wake up early, and that's it.
I'll just quote my Instagram.
Small wins.
Yeah, it says
small wins.
Small step, great distance.
Exactly.
You know?
Small steps. I think for us, like, for me, it was always looking at the past and then always looking to the future. Like, that was me. Like, okay, where did OCR mess up, or where did I mess up, or where do I want to go? Never in the present time. And I feel like that's such a hard thing to do in, you know, just in life. So I think those things, when you're thinking about quitting, reach out. It's okay to reach out. It's okay to feel what you're feeling. Okay, but keep pushing. All right. And at the end of the day, celebrate the small wins. Celebrate the small wins. Like I said, there was a quote that I heard from a podcast, and he said that he went to the gym every morning at 7 a.m., but didn't work out. His small win, though, was getting to the gym at 7 a.m. Then the next one was, okay, let's do 5-minute cardios, right? So it's an easy process. Like, don't give up. Like, just, you know, keep pushing and celebrate the small wins. And at the end of the day, man, like, give yourself grace. Like, give yourself grace to know that you are where you're at right now, and it's okay to know where you're at right now. Like, it's okay. Wherever you're at right now, like, it's okay. There's always tomorrow, and just keep pushing.
Beautiful words right there. So now to the present, you know, nowadays, you know, last year or this year, OC Resilient and Intentful Media. But first, OC Resilient, when you first did it, I thought it was crazy, you know, like, I think you fed a huge, not industry, but a huge group of people. Since there was a pandemic, there were limitations on what to do. And you said, oh, open gym here this time. And I remember it was a boom. It was like,
it was crazy.
D1 players were coming in, like 3 a.m. playing volleyball, you know. It was a fun place, safe place, you know, nothing crazy was happening but volleyball, you know, good vibes. So take us to what went through your mind and the process of thinking OC Resilient and making this and becoming an entrepreneur of OC Resilient. Yeah,
so I think the way it started was, it didn't start as OC Resilient. I talking about second chances, my AD here, Leslie Aragon, he's like a second dad to me, because I was done playing volleyball. I was like done with volleyball after the Pierce game, and he hit me up, he's like, hey man, I'm looking for a head coach for the girls team for high school. I was like, look man, I don't, I'm good with volleyball for right now. Like, I'm not. And I said no in 2019. I said no. And then he's like, he just kept, come on, man. Like, I was like, bro, like, you know, like, I've done a lot of mistakes in my life. Like, I don't know if I want to go down that route anymore. Like, volleyball, for me, after like, Long Beach City days, all I saw was like parties, Steven, volleyball, like, it's just another world of me that I didn't want to be a part of anymore. And they said, no, man, like, I feel you can make a, you know, an impact on the girls. Like, you're a very good volleyball player. Like, just try it out. And I was like, all right, screw it. So I tried it out, 2019. And at the end of 2019, going to 2020. So 2020 was my first, like, official season until COVID hit, right? So before COVID hit, I needed to find money. Basketball is very big at this school. So all of their big tournaments, all of it goes to the basketball accounts. So I asked my AD, and I was like, hey man, if I throw tournaments, can I have a separate volleyball account to, like, you know, get better uniforms, get better gear, better equipment?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. So Moni did that. I was like, all right, cool. So I started a couple of small tournaments, you know, just in the grass or small things. Small.
The first thing was grass.
Yeah, small things. And then COVID hit.
Yeah.
So it kind of took a halt on that. But towards, like, you know, whenever we got like some type of leeway, or like it was very iffy of like, oh, we're shut down, we're not shut down, we're shut down, we're not shut down. So then whenever we got like the not shut down ones, and I was like, all right, let's just jump on it really quick. And we were technically like the only volleyball in like pretty much America. Like it was insane. I remember just talking. There was an open gym. We had over 300 people in there.
It was crazy.
Insane.
Yeah.
Like if you lost, you were not gonna play again. But people still stayed.
Yeah.
I remember people driving from Bakersfield, San Diego, Vegas, people flying in. I remember our open gym started at like 9:30.
Yeah.
Bro, we had people lining up at like 5. Like OCR and everybody talks about OCR in 2020 because it was insane.
Yeah.
I remember we would walk into like the gym talking about like D1 players, and we would see like rows of like the school backpacks.
Yeah.
Like all Concordias, UCLA's, like USC's, like all these teams that are coming out here on top of all the pro players that were also, like Dustin Walden was here, like all the big time players, because OCR became like a hub of like
at that time
very high level volleyball, and it was nuts. OCR 2020 was insane.
Yeah, so for me, at the time I was still at Long Beach, 2020, I had a couple of offers. I had a BYU offer, Ball State offer, and I forgot who else, but shut down, right? I'm like, I can't just sit at home. I gotta find a place to go get better, to get ready for, you know, the offers I got, if it happened after COVID, because they were like, oh, COVID, I don't know if it's gonna still happen, you know. And I'm like, this is the place. I was here every single time. Like, and I used to be like, also have fun. I was here with the thinking of, I have to get better. Like, I'm playing against Division I players, you know. This is a good level.
Yeah.
Might be open gym, but I still getting those touches and reps and seeing the speed that they play at. So I thought it was a huge move, you know. Like, so many people were here.
Yeah, the high level volleyball and the top courts were nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, like, all D1 players. Like, all 4, 5, 6 teams were just
was here. Like, USA players came too. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah, the level was crazy. It didn't matter the time. It was fun. It was 2020 was fun, but it was 2020. Good times. It was crazy though. It was a lot. It was a lot of energy a lot of times, but it all started because as a fundraiser for our girls volleyball team, which granted, like, we have brand new poles, a brand new court, nets, everything because of OCR. And I think that was a really cool reason why we kept going. But to the point though, before it became a company, my AD's like, hey man, you got too big. Like, we can't cover you under Orangewood anymore. Like, it used to be just an Orangewood fundraiser. He's like, hey, you're getting too big. Like, you gotta separate yourself and become your own identity. And that's how OCR came about, is we got big. It came into big, but there was no dream of like, everything that we're doing now, that was not a dream yet.
Wow.
It was not a dream. It was just open gyms and men's tournaments. That was it. But a lot happened,
Got you. So Intentful Media, take me through that.
So Intentful Media is pretty much a marketing agency. So I'm I have a couple group of guys, Braylon, they've seen them around here, Braylon, Freddie, Ray, back when we started. And it was just a group of guys that loved content. And we started at Relive Church, and we're like, hey, we can do this like as an actual thing. And, those guys are really good at, videography and content creation. And I just brought the marketing side of it. And so we've worked with a couple big brands already. We worked with Wilson Volleyball, and just helping them get started with their whole AVB transition. So right now we just work with clubs to do all of their online presence. I feel like look, we come from a basketball background, and social media marketing and videographers and everything in the basketball world is crazy. I mean, you go to an AAU tournament, there's videographers.
Oh, so many. Yeah,
hundreds. In volleyball. Besides, us, Olivia with On4 Media, and then Holly, Ryan with AVB. Like, there's only like a handful of volleyball creators, and I feel like there's so much potential, especially with the NIL deals, that we can make a huge impact in the volleyball community through marketing and social media, and especially with all these like clubs popping up, that we can help them grow. And so we help with clubs. We also help with high schools. Like in the private school system, bro, recruiting is the next big thing now. Everything they do at the university level is at the high school level now. So like pulling kids, like how can these kids go to my high school, social media. And now, working with other community colleges and seeing how to provide content, for them. So that's in Tenfold Media. It's a marketing agency specifically for like sports and that's Tenfold Media. That one's fun. But if you can tell, OCR was like the beginning of it all. Because our media and Tenfold Media started through OCR. OCR's content is really high level because of Tenfold Media.
Got you. So what's going on, or what's in the upcoming future for OCR tournaments? You meant, I don't want to jump to it, but you mentioned men's volleyball club. You're starting a team.
Yeah.
So what's coming up for the future for OCR?
There's a lot going on right now. When we first started OCR, like we said, it was just tournaments, and there was no goal. Like, it was just money's going to the girls volleyball team or the program here, and that was pretty much it. I think the bigger we got, I think the idea started to go. I made a lot of mistakes running the company, just like emailing people or just court time, or just a lot of mistakes or experiences that I had to learn from to make OCR better. And once the adult got established, because we started technically OCR officially began August 1st, 2020.
Yeah.
So we're about to hit 3 years in a couple months, right? Since then, our adults is pretty established. But it was just like I could go deep into OCRs, a lot of stuff, but the adults became established, but I wanted to grow from that. I wanted to grow on that, and that's when we started to travel with our adult side teams. So we met with B-League, Ahmed, Allen, Brown, and all of them are amazing guys for B-League. If you're from Vegas or you want to go to Vegas and play volleyball, B-League. Shout out B-League. So I met with them, and we took for the first tournament, which when we first started, we only took I think 2 teams, our men's team, and then I was like, I want to open it up. I want to create a community for all of OCR that come in there, and we took 7 teams last year to Vegas.
Yeah, that was
adults.
Yeah.
And this year we're projected to take 10 or 14.
Oh wow.
So that's the adult side, super fun. Creating an indoor. Tournaments, and then grass. Grass has been really good for us lately, and just expanding the community of volleyball and then just doing that on the adult side. But now the adult side has a goal, or now they have like a purpose, right? Because now we started a youth club, right? So now all the money that we get on the adult side funnels the club. So this is our first year running a girls club. So it's been a process to learn. We have an 18s team, and just learning the ups and downs of club volleyball, and then we're starting a boys club, second half boys club, just to get some momentum for next year. In the next couple of weeks at the end of April for a May and June season. At the exact same time, we're having our women's pro team for VLA.
Gotcha.
That's right. So if you look at if you look at OCR, there's technically 4 pillars. It is the girls and boys clubs, so 1, 2, the adults, which is 3 open gyms, leagues, and then 4 are women's pro team. So those are the 4 pillars of OCR as of right now that are looking to do. And granted, there's a lot of things going to happen in between them, but I'm trying to bridge the gap between the moment you turn 6 years old until you're a professional athlete. That's OCR's volleyball side.
Okay.
But OCR is only a vehicle of where we're going next because of Intentful Media.
Okay.
So it's like almost like a leeway. So Intentful Media is pretty much marketing and all that stuff, all those different things, right? But I want to combine them, as in like my goal in life is like, let's just say you go pro.
Yeah.
All right, and then that's pretty much it. Once you come back, what's next?
Yeah.
Right. Especially for volleyball, the pro life isn't. It's not long. It's not like you're in the NBA or something like that. Like you can make a lot of money, right? So what comes after that? Right. There's a lot of my friends that went pro and they came back and that's it. Like now they're either going to be coaches or, they're just trying different things. Well, I can teach like the business side of all of that.
Okay.
If you want to find a way to, do training, then, hey, let's create a logo, let's create a target audience, let's create like, how do we build your social media? How do we do social media branding? All of that stuff for all of my homies that pretty much came back from overseas that are not doing much. I can use volleyball as a vehicle to get to your next spot, right? So just how I did with OCR, right? Is how do you use volleyball to create business opportunities?
Open doors.
Right,
yes.
Correct. So like now at Intentful Media, we've grown up. We started with just 4 videographers. Now I'm at 12.
Oh, wow.
Right. So and these are just people that are coming in under me and learning the games of like what is marketing, what is ads, what is all of that stuff in the volleyball world, right? To be able to become their own content creators, to go to other clubs and other things like that and other schools and other programs, or either create their own identity, logo branding or stuff like that. So that's kind of like, I'm trying to merge like the volleyball world and Intentful Media, OCR and Intentful Media to become one,
Beautiful.
right? So, and as a vehicle, and I want anybody to get onto that vehicle. Like I will put anybody in that vehicle. Like if you want to learn how to do this stuff, like get on there, learn how to do it, then go do your thing. You can start an OCR somewhere, or you can start an Intentful Media somewhere, or like, podcasting or all that stuff. You can start that wherever, and we can, show you the way through all of my bad experiences or bad mistakes or things like that, just so you can become better at that.
Beautiful. Well, Steven, I want to give you thanks for giving me your time. For the ones that are watching this video and podcast, hope you guys learned something from Steven's experiences and basically busting up to becoming an entrepreneur of 2 things, OC Resilient and Intentful Media. Make sure you guys follow him and give it a shot if you guys are volleyball people. Make sure you guys subscribe and like the podcast. Thank you.